Such a great show today. I love anything dedicated to the mamas out there. I got very blessed with amazing mothers in my life, and my friends are amazing moms, and Abby's an amazing mom, and Sarah's an amazing mom, and I just love and watch constantly what all the moms and the grandmas and the aunties, anyone who just mothers anyone around them. You don't even have to be a mom. I love the love that comes from your heart, and I just want to celebrate it every day. But today, we're gonna celebrate it with some carbs from me. So I'm gonna do this really beautiful sweet potato cornbread. You can serve it for brunch, you can serve it as a side dish, whatever you wanna do. So first of all, I'm gonna use my mixer. You can use a hand mixer as well. But I have 2 sweet potatoes here that I've roasted and cooled down. And I'm just gonna plop them into a mixing bowl, because one of the keys to this is you gotta get it super smooth. So usually it plops right out. It's gonna be sassy on me, hold on. Let's make sure none of the skin is left on there. Beautiful. Let's do the next one. Just make sure they're nice and soft. This is wonderful to do with leftover sweet potatoes. And in a pinch, I did this one time and it actually worked. It made it really sweet. But I grabbed a can of yams, like a can of like yams you can just get at the grocery store. And I used those instead because that's all I had. It was a catering emergency a long time ago. And it worked great. It was just really sweet. But if you want a really sweet cornbread, use the candied yams. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and whisk this around. Okay, we're gonna lock in the bowl first. There we go. That helps. Got some fun stuff to add to it. I'm gonna wait on the dry goods. We just wanna make sure that there's no big chunks, nothing that's not cooked all the way through. You want those sweet potatoes super soft. Give the bowl a scrape. Yep, that looks perfect. And now, I'm gonna go ahead and add in a few things. We're gonna do a little melted butter. And we're gonna do some sour cream to add a little tang to it, but we're also gonna be adding buttermilk in a little bit, because I don't want just a sugar sweet bomb. I want this to be a cornbread with a little bit of richness and sweetness. I'm not looking for a super sweet one. I'm gonna do some dark brown sugar, because the dark brown has the molasses flavors in there. Dump that in there. And we're gonna do 2 eggs. And I'll usually do eggs in a separate bowl just to make sure that shell doesn't go rogue in there. Little egg, let's do one more. Beautiful. All right, so now we're gonna let this all come together. And on the side is where I have my buttermilk, but we're not adding this yet. We're gonna wait. But let this do its thing. Do a little cleanup here. All right, I'm gonna do a good bowl scrape. It doesn't take long for this to come together. Sometimes you see chunks of brown sugar. Just make sure it's all really well combined. Now, what makes this special, not only the buttermilk we're gonna be adding in, but I'm also gonna be making it in a cast iron skillet. And what that cast iron skillet does, evenly cooks it, beautiful presentation, but it makes the crust just extra golden and delicious, so that's what we're gonna do. First though, in a bowl, let's get our dry ingredients. We've got yellow cornmeal, about 1.5 cups, and then a cup of regular flour. I have not tried making this gluten-free yet. This was one, Sarah, I was gonna talk to you about it. Like, should we try this one gluten-free today? We might later. We might have some extra sweet potatoes. I got a little baking powder here as well. And then I want a good pinch of salt, because we got a lot of sweet going on. Get some salt in there. So a good pinch of salt. I go a little heavier than most people do. And I'm gonna give this a good whisk. My oven is set to 375. That's the perfect temp for this. And once this is well combined, I'm gonna do that thing where we do a little bit of dry, a little bit of buttermilk. We're just gonna alternate, because that just ensures it stays light, fluffy, and everything comes together really well. So let's start with a little bit of our dry ingredients. And then we got some buttermilk. A little bit of that. Just let it slowly start coming together. A little bit of dry. I'll usually do it in like 3 increments. A little bit of buttermilk. That buttermilk and sour cream doesn't add a sourness, it adds a tartness, a little tanginess, which really rounds out the sweetness and the savory. So that's why I like this so much. All right, we're gonna finish off the dry. And let's finish off the buttermilk. Now, of course, we gotta give that bowl a good scrape. No man left behind. I want all the yummy bits off the side. Heck yeah. Get in the bottom. Get all that dry goodness on the side. You can see how that sweet potato just melted into everything there. There's no big chunks of it anywhere. All right, let me clean up my spot here while that goes. Okay, I made a little bit of a mess. I didn't go too crazy today. Usually when I'm baking, I make a humongous mess. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Let that drip off for a minute. So I've got my cast iron here. My recipe just says large cast iron. I believe this is a 10 or 12 inch here. It's one of those things where you want to put in a bunch of little cast irons, do a bunch of little cast irons. You want to do a regular cake, like whatever you want. It's just cornbread. You're not going to mess it up. You just want to keep a careful eye on it. So what I do, though, I like to ensure that we're going to have a lovely crust on that. So I could spray it with cooking spray, but what I like to do is I'll take a little vegetable or canola oil, and I'll really grease it up. One, it'll make it way easier to take out of the pan, but also just that extra heat from the oil gives it that you know what I'm talking about, that crust on the bottom that's like golden and crunchy, and then the inside is tender and sweet. And for me, this just adds an extra little flair to it. But if you are in a hurry, honey, and you just want to spray it with some cooking spray, just spray it well with some cooking spray. I love cooking in cast iron, and one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because my Grandma Rosie, my mom's coming on later, we're gonna make one of her recipes. My Grandma Rosie loved doing things in cast iron, and she would make pineapple upside down cake in a cast iron pan. And nothing caramelizes that brown sugar and pineapple like a cast iron pan. So it brought on a very early love for me of using cast iron whenever I can, because it just, something magical happens in the oven that just, you get the textures and the flavors you want. All right, so if you can see, this batter is kind of light and airy because we did that rotating of the wet and dry ingredients. It's not super, super dense. It feels light, which is what we're looking for. And like I said, you can bake it in any kind of vessel you want. Just keep an eye on it. You'll know it's done because it's golden and it springs back when you touch it. Ooh, calm down. When you hit it in the oven, it should spring right back and not be loose at all. So this is a very adjustable recipe. So I'm just gonna go ahead and zhuzh that around here, nice and even. I don't wanna waste this, hold on. That right there, that's 2 bites right there. I'm not wasting a Mother's Day bread because that is delish. All right, so I'm gonna get this in my oven, and we're gonna make a little accoutrement to go with it. All right, this is going in. Cook it till it's done. Cook it till it's brown and delicious and bouncy. But let's make a little something to serve with it, which couldn't be easier, and probably things you already have in your house. Softened butter, let's start there. We're gonna do a little seasoned butter here that I want you to serve with this if you have time. Now, because all the butter we have in here is unsalted, we're gonna go ahead and add a good dash of salt to this. Like, when I say pinch, my pinches are not 2 fingers. My pinches are 4 fingers, 4 big rounded fingers, boom, in. Now I'm gonna add a little honey. We're just gonna make a little honey butter. But I have a little special ingredient to go in it to make it a little extra special. There is no recipe for this. I just put butter and honey and salt together. Just MITG, just make it taste good. I don't have a recipe. Butter, salt, honey. Building blocks of life. However, let's do a little pumpkin pie seasoning. Not just for Thanksgiving time. This is, you can use pumpkin pie seasoning whenever you want. And for me, a little cinnamon would work well in here as well. But we got sweet potatoes going on, and sweet potatoes and pumpkin have very similar flavor profiles. So I feel like this would go really well with that sweet potato. If you'd rather do cinnamon, but I'm just doing a little bit. And to me, to be able to have something kind of special to spread on this bread, and then just give it a good smash. Make sure your butter is room temperature. You can make this a couple days ahead of time, keep it in the fridge, use it for toast for the rest of the week, or any biscuits or bread, anything you want to use it for. And just keep smashing it till it all comes together. And I want to show you, I have one ready to go here. That was made earlier today. Look at that. Now let me see if I can get a good chunk out of that. See what I said? It's golden. It pulls away from the sides a little bit because they were well greased. And then I just want to see if this will come out nicely. It should. It's a Mother's Day show. All right, I'm going in with a knife. Oh, heck yes. Okay, honey. Look at that. Look how tall that got. The sweet potato, you can't even tell there's sweet potato in there. So if you have that one picky kid in your family, like I do, just don't mention it. Just say sweet cornbread, and then just slather it with a little bit of that spiced butter. Come on. No mom is gonna be mad about this on Mother's Day. So, cheers, everybody. I'm not gonna tell you I'm gonna eat this whole slice during the commercial break, but I'm gonna eat this whole slice during commercial break.